So, William, tell us about your drums.
My drums. So I'm currently playing, I'm endorsed by Yamaha and I love Yamaha drums. However, I'm currently playing one of Dua's kits, which is a Tama Silver Star, which is effectively their limited acrylic range they did. She really wanted this look on stage, and it's one that she loved the sound of, and I agreed to play, and I must admit it's very, very good. I love it. Acrylic kits can sometimes, they're just, I don't know, they lack a bit of warmth for me a lot of the time, but this doesn't. It's just really super warm, really, really punchy, looks absolutely beautiful, and it's perfect for the job, absolutely perfect for what we need. I played 12, 16, 22, really standard pop sizes, and it cuts through really nicely. Really, really, we get everything we need front of house from it, and yeah, that's my drums. I have a snare here, I have the Ludwig Copperphonic, which is just glorious. It's the first drum I've actually gone to a shop to buy. Like I've never been that much of a drum nerd, and I've just played whatever's been around and everything, but my friend Adam took me to a store and we played this, and it's like, I just had to buy it. It was when we were in New York, and I bought it on the spot and played it at a show that evening and just fell in love straight away. I love it. And then on this side, I have my Yamaha Recording Custom. It's the new ones they did.
Yes.
Yeah, and it's great. I have this as like tuned down as like a kind of slightly more beefier snare. This is tuned up and it's got more crack and attack and suitable for most, songs. And then sometimes I just want a really low, stompy, slightly trashy snare, and I love it.
That's the aluminium.
The aluminium one.
Nice,
yeah,
nice.
And I have the brass as well, which I have on my other kit, but this is my aluminium one, and it's really good. It's really, really good. And I trigger them as well. I trigger both my snare drums with the Roland RT30s, and I trigger my kick as well, just to get, we use the live drum sound a lot out front because they sound great, but there are some songs which it's a click or a snap or whatever, which are so, a big characteristic in the song, I want to do with songs. So I'll always layer them up, and depending on the song, we'll either mix them quietly under the drum if we want more punch, or if it's a song like New Rules, which is very electronic and stuff, we raise the triggers higher in the mix to get that much more kind of slightly hip-hoppy or electronic kind of feel to it. They all go into this little Yamaha Brain DTX 900, which I have 5 TP70s which run into them for anything I just want electronic as samples, and then my 3 acoustic triggers too. They all run into this, and then I run a MIDI signal out of that to our laptops at the side of the stage, where I house all my sounds in Ableton, because it means you can do a lot of automation. So for example, in a song like Hotter Than Hell, which you want to do with songs, there's a clap sound which I play on here, and as the song goes on, the clap has a filter that opens up, it has reverb that opens out, and it means I can program in all the automation exactly as I want it in my, at home on my speakers, and I can play it and go, that's how I want it to sound, and then when I play it, all the automation happens with it, and it just, which Joe Public probably won't recognise, but they will realise that the song sounds like it does on the record, so they won't notice it so much. So I think the filter's opening, but there'll be something that sounds the same as what they've heard before.
Yeah,
exactly, yeah. And then my cymbals, I've been with Peisty for about 12 years now, with Martin Potts there, who's looked after me since I was a teenager in my very first band. I'm on a 2002 19-inch on the left, a 24-inch Big Beat 2002 for my ride, and my wildcard, which is my Thin Crash 20 Rude here, which was a very strange choice for me when we did it, but we tried it in rehearsals and we swapped around and we tried a few different things. And honestly, for what we needed, which was like getting in bigger rooms, and we needed a bit more attack, a bit more decay, this and this together were just, they just worked. And it was really surprised us all that this was the one that we went for. But hell, my teenage self who loves Joey Jordison is very happy about playing a Rude cymbal. And on my hats, I have 602 hats, 14-inch Peisty 602s, which I've used for about 6 years through my old band, LaRue, and she wanted the Michael Jackson kind of Billie Jean tight hats sound. And Martin said, well, these are the ones they recorded them on. So I was like, okay, we'll try that. And we love them. For like Dua, all the hats on record are all 808 hats. They're really trebly, they're really tight. And for me to turn up with 15 or 16-inch big hats just wouldn't work. So these big cymbals are quite low. This is, we get a good cut through with this. And then these just sit right at the top, and we mix them, like we scoop all the low end out, and they're super toppy and trebly, and they work amazingly for what we're trying to do here. I play Vic Firth sticks, and I have again for about 10 years, been with Vic Firth. Just standard 5As. I've gone from 2B to 7A to 5B to I've tried them all just to see what I like, and these just feel, there's enough to get some welly out of it, but also I'm not tired after playing for an hour-and-a-half set. What else have I got? I have a butt kicker on my seat. I used to run a big sub behind me, which blasted me when I hit the kick. But in a room like this where you've got like a video screen, you can't really have a big wall of speakers behind you and all this. So this is quite a new thing for me, which I'm really enjoying. So I have an SBDS. I have no sounds on this and I don't play it or anything. It's just to start and stop the backing tracks for each song. This is just a MIDI controller, and each song has a different MIDI note, sends it out to our laptops, and we'll start the song according to when I'm ready. A lot of the times on stage, it'll be in a loop, and Dua will look at me and give me a wink, and I'll hit the next section, so it goes on, which means night to night, the lengths can change, it keeps it a bit fresh to us, and she does a lot of stuff where she goes and gets the crowd to sing, and if they're not very good that night, we'll keep it short, and if they're really loud, she'll get the left competing with the right, and we'll just draw it out, and it means she doesn't have to compromise what she does to us using backing tracks, so we can just, it gives me the flexibility to be able to cue everyone. This is my cue mic where I can talk to everyone in their ears, to be able to say, okay, this time round, and I'll hit it, and we'll go to the next section.
Sweet, so you can talk to the band.
I talk to the band, yeah, and then, basically, it'll keep going, and then she'll say something like, okay, I'm gonna start singing on this next one, and I'll go, okay, this time round, and hit it, and we'll go. And with something like this, it's a really good way for us to be able to do that. But, yeah.
Oh, yeah, and heads.
Heads, yeah, so these are quite new for me. For years I was on Remo and used an Emperor X and clear pinstripes, but a tech has just put me onto these Evans heads, which is the Genera Dry for the snare, which when I put my old Emperor X head on this snare, it just choked it a little bit. They're great heads, but it just choked this drum a bit. So we went onto this and it just sounded exactly as it did in the shop, which is kind of what I wanted it to sound like. And then just an EC2 clear on here. We've messed around with coated, we've messed around with the hazy heads, which were pretty cool, and I really like them, but these just sing, they absolutely sing. We still get warmth, we get so much attack, and that's what we go for out front. We use these as like just impact, basically. There's nothing subtle about them, they're just pure digging in impact drums. And then I use an EMAD on the kick, which for an acrylic kit, I didn't want to fill it full of cushions and all this, so we just have one of the little Evans cushions in it, and the EMAD we get the dampening we want, and it's behaving really well with triggers. We cut a little square out of the foam at the side just to keep our trigger on there, and it's really good. It's working amazingly, and it feels really good to sink in. The sound out there is great. We used to run a lot more trigger than we do now, and when we got the head choice right, we started bringing the triggers down and pushing the live drums, because Richie, my drum tech, is phenomenal. So yeah, this is my rig. I have Mapex hardware for most part. I just find them.
Oh yeah, I noticed. Yeah, you have the armory stands.
This is through through Martin again, through Martin at Peisty. He looks after the Mapex stuff, and I needed some new hardware, and he was like, "Look, try these out, see what you think." And I've had these for years now, and they're just my favourite stands. They're really simple, and these are you can get. I mean, I have them straight, so it's pretty simple.
Yeah.
But yeah, really good. Hi, my name is William Bowerman. I'm the musical director and drummer for Dua Lipa, and we are here at the Genting Arena in Birmingham on our headline arena tour in the UK. The lights have gone out, but I have to say thank you to Sound Attack for coming down, such a great store, and checking out my drums.